As we grow older, what kind of life do we dream of living? Have you ever thought about how to live lightly and freely as you age? In these times when life feels complex, I believe many people share these concerns. Amid endless information and overflowing relationships, we often lose our way and feel confused about what true happiness really means. In this complexity, a question becomes more urgent. As we age, how can we live with peace of mind and a light heart? Today, I want to talk about how to live lightly and freely. As we grow older, what do we commonly think of when we say living lightly? Does it simply mean having lots of money or being free of worries? It could be financial freedom or escaping the complexity of human relationships, or perhaps it's simply spending time peacefully, however we wish. Ultimately, living lightly goes beyond shedding physical burdens. It's deeply connected to letting go of the burdens in our hearts, finding inner peace, breaking free from external constraints, and savoring true freedom. That is the essence of the lightness we should pursue. The philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer viewed human life as a continuum of suffering. His pessimistic perspective may sometimes feel cold, but he endlessly explored how to live wisely. Even within that suffering, he left many insights about the various changes we experience as we age and the mindset needed. His philosophy provides practical advice for living lightly. Through his wisdom, let's consider together how we can live more freely and peacefully as we grow older. If today's theme resonates with you, you'll gain valuable insights that can bring small changes to your life. First, we must possess the wisdom to let go. We need to practice releasing the urge to hold on to everything. Throughout life, we try to possess many things: a better house, more money, higher status, more recognition from others. We believe these things will make us happy. As we constantly strive to own and accumulate more, we often lose the most important thing, our inner peace. But Schopenhauer warned that what we try to possess can become chains that bind us. He saw possession itself as suffering. When we own something, we worry about losing it and feel unhappy when we can't have more. This insight remains valid in modern society. Feeling relative deprivation when seeing others' glamorous lives on social media, or constantly stressing to protect material possessions we worked hard to obtain. These are common experiences in our lives. As we age, this desire to possess can grow even stronger. When young, the process of striving for new things can be enjoyable, but as we age, the urge to protect what we already have grows stronger. The possessiveness toward children is the same, wanting children to act according to our wishes, wanting to deeply intervene in their lives. These ultimately become heavy burdens for both parent and child. A parent's desire for their child's success is natural, but when it leads to excessive expectations or interference, it damages relationships and causes mutual hurt. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. Rather, it's a wise choice to release less important things for the sake of more important values. For instance, when young, a big house and expensive furniture might seem like symbols of happiness, but as we age, the time and effort required to maintain them can become burdensome. At that point, boldly reducing possessions and starting a minimal life in a smaller, efficient space can offer a new form of lightness. This applies not only to material possessions, but also to mental ones. Past memories, regrets, wounds. When we let go of things that mentally bind us, we can gain true freedom. Schopenhauer emphasized that happiness doesn't come from external conditions, but from inner peace. In other words, the key to true happiness isn't how much we have, but how little we need. When we let go of what we're holding onto, one by one, we can finally obtain true freedom and peace. So what should we let go of? The first thing we must release is others' gazes and expectations. We've spent our whole lives worrying about what others think of us, how we appear to them. We must get into a good university, get a good job, get married, have children. We've tried to live up to society's standards and the expectations of those around us, but what we realize as we age is that others won't take responsibility for our lives. Whatever life we live, the consequences are entirely our own. We no longer need to sacrifice ourselves, bound by others' opinions. We should ask ourselves what we truly want, what we won't regret. In life's final moments, the moment we're freed from others' gazes, we can finally live our own lives, listening to our inner voice and pursuing our own values. That's the first step toward living lightly. The second thing we must let go of is attachment to the past. Many are trapped in past glory or suffer from unforgotten failures. We might constantly recall our brilliant career in youth, happy moments, and lament our current inadequacies. Conversely, past wounds and regrets can prevent us from truly living in the present. Schopenhauer said, "The past has already gone. The future hasn't yet come, and only the present belongs to us." Attachment to the past makes the present unhappy and the future anxious. Regret and attachment to the past weigh us down like heavy burdens and become obstacles, blocking new beginnings. We should cherish good memories from the past as beautiful recollections and use painful memories as nourishment for growth. Letting go of the past doesn't mean forgetting it, but learning from experience and focusing on the present. When we live each moment fully in the present, we can finally escape the shackles of the past and become free. Third, we must let go of perfectionism and the obsession with achievement. When young, constantly pushing ourselves and striving for higher goals might seem virtuous, but as we age, this compulsion exhausts body and mind. We no longer need to do everything perfectly or suffer under pressure to outperform others. We need the courage to do things moderately and let go. Throughout life, we suffer under social pressure to always do our best and pursue perfection. But this perfectionism keeps us constantly anxious and makes us blame ourselves for small mistakes. As we age, pursuing leisure and peace becomes far more important than perfection. Schopenhauer said, "Satisfaction comes from small things." Instead of thinking we're happy only when we set grand goals and achieve them, it's important to appreciate daily small pleasures and minor accomplishments. A warm cup of tea, beautiful music, a good book. The small joys we discover in daily life are the true elements that enrich our lives. Being okay with imperfection and treating ourselves more generously, this is the crucial attitude for living lightly. Fourth, to possess the wisdom to let go, we must first learn to love ourselves. We should pursue inner peace and satisfaction, not others' approval or external success. Through activities like meditation, yoga, or reading, we should communicate with ourselves and take time to listen to our inner voice. Caring for and loving ourselves, that is both the beginning and completion of all letting go. We often ask ourselves what we'll most regret at life's final moment. Many say they regret not spending more time with loved ones or not living the life they truly wanted. More than external success, like money or fame. Ultimately, how to live lightly as we age begins with realizing life's true values and having the courage to let go of unnecessary burdens. This is a profound process that goes beyond simply reducing possessions. It transforms our thoughts, emotions, and attitudes. Schopenhauer said, "We must face life's suffering while finding our own peace within it." The wisdom to let go will lead us to a freer and more fulfilling life as we age. Second, we must have The courage to stand alone. The second way to live lightly as we age is having the courage to stand alone. Schopenhauer acknowledged humanity's essential loneliness and emphasized accepting it rather than overcoming it. He said, "We are born alone and die alone. Relationships with others exist in between, but ultimately everything is accomplished alone." This may sound very pessimistic at first. It seems to emphasize that humans are inevitably solitary beings, but Schopenhauer didn't view loneliness solely negatively. Rather, he believed the ability to stand alone brings true freedom and inner peace. We spend our lives trying to be with someone, family, friends, spouse, children. We constantly form relationships and seek stability and happiness within them. Of course, these relationships bring great joy and meaning to life, but they also bind and distress us, especially as we age. Relationships become more complex. Children leave to find their own lives. Spouses may pass away first, and friendships can change from what they were in youth. Without the courage to stand alone, we can fall into deep loneliness and loss. We might feel socially isolated or lose life's meaning. The courage to stand alone doesn't simply mean spending time by ourselves. True solitude means having the inner strength to find happiness and give life meaning without depending on external relationships. Schopenhauer said, "Only those with rich inner lives can experience true happiness." We need a solid inner fortress that isn't shaken by external factors. This means cultivating our own inner world and finding satisfaction within it. So how can we develop the courage to stand alone? First, we must find our own sources of joy, not just activities we do with others, but hobbies and pursuits we can enjoy alone. Reading, listening to music, painting, writing, walking, meditation. The joy we gain from time alone is greater than we think. These activities enrich our inner selves and give us time to focus on ourselves. When young, it may be difficult to have personal time amid busy schedules, but as we age, we must intentionally create such time. We should explore what makes us happiest, what we're so absorbed in that we lose track of time, and make those activities important parts of our lives. This becomes an important process. Beyond just filling time, it establishes our identity and promotes inner growth. Second, we must understand ourselves. Through inner dialogue, we tend to define ourselves. Through relationships with others, someone's wife, someone's mother, someone's husband, we try to find our role within relationships, but our true self only emerges when we're alone. We should take time to honestly face and understand our thoughts, emotions, and desires. Writing in a journal or meditating, having deep conversations with our inner selves is an important process that helps us better understand and love ourselves. This inner dialogue reduces the loneliness we feel and helps us become our own best friend. Through time alone, we can identify our strengths and weaknesses and reestablish our life's direction. Third, we must become free from others' gazes. One of the biggest obstacles to standing alone is concern about others' opinions. Won't they think it's strange to eat alone? Won't they think it's lonely to travel alone? These worries bind us, but Schopenhauer already said, others' opinions don't take responsibility for our lives. We need the courage to act as we truly wish, no longer swayed by others' judgments. Going to the theater alone, visiting a gallery alone, enjoying good food alone. All these can be small practices in developing the courage to stand alone. However others think of us, that's their concern. We must realize our happiness depends solely on our own choices and actions. Fourth, we must assign our own value to ourselves. We often try to confirm our worth through others' approval or social success. but depending on such external standards means our self-esteem wavers whenever external circumstances change. True value lies within ourselves. As we age, outward youth and social roles may diminish. At that time, we must value our inner wisdom, experience, and values, and recognize we're sufficiently worthy as we are. The self-affirming belief that I shine just as I am strengthens the courage to stand alone. Schopenhauer said, only the most solitary person can reach the greatest thoughts. The courage to stand alone may make us lonely, but simultaneously, through deep self-reflection and inner growth, it can bring true freedom and peace. To live lightly as we age, we must build a strong inner fortress and construct our own world, unshaken by external factors. When we can lead a sufficiently joyful and meaningful life alone, we can finally welcome a light and fulfilling old age. Third, we must build meaningful relationships. The third way to live lightly as we age is building meaningful relationships. While I earlier emphasized the courage to stand alone, this doesn't mean cutting off all relationships and living an isolated life. Through the Hedgehog's Dilemma, Schopenhauer explained the difficulty of relationships, but he also acknowledged we're beings who must live within relationships. He said, humans are social animals and feel complete only when with others. However, since no relationship is without pain, we must maintain appropriate distance. Ultimately, what matters isn't the quantity of relationships, but their quality. Building deep, genuine relationships with a few people is far more important for living lightly as we age than having superficial connections with many people. When young, we might think building a wide network is important, but as we age, these relationships can sometimes feel burdensome. A few friends or family members who truly understand and support us can be far more powerful than countless acquaintances. Meaningful relationships help us not feel lonely and become supports with whom we can share life's painful moments. This goes beyond mere emotional support. It provides practical help and life vitality. So how can we build meaningful relationships? First, we must find people who resonate with us. Schopenhauer emphasized avoiding arguments with fools. This goes beyond just avoiding fights. It's advice to distance ourselves from people who drain our energy and cause unnecessary emotional depletion. Instead, it's important to build relationships with people who share similar values and can positively influence each other. Relationships where conversation is enjoyable and we can support each other's growth. These have true meaning. Through such relationships, we gain new insights and recover life's vitality. Sharing the same hobbies or volunteering together, we should naturally expand our connections with like-minded people. Second, we must maintain appropriate distance. Just because we're close doesn't mean we should share everything or excessively intervene in each other's lives. This can ultimately damage relationships. Even in the closest relationships, respecting each other's privacy and independence is important. Like Schopenhauer's Hedgehog's Dilemma, getting too close can result in being pricked by quills. When we give each other breathing room and respect each other's lives, relationships can be healthier and longer lasting. As we age, maintaining this distance becomes even more important. Relationships with children, relationships with spouses, relationships with friends, all need appropriate distance. When children become adults, we should fully respect their lives. And with spouses too, we need consideration that respects each other's personal time. Third, we must communicate and listen sincerely. Meaningful relationships begin with sincere communication. It's important to carefully listen to others, empathize, and honestly express our own thoughts and feelings. When we're honest with each other, relationships deepen and trust builds. But even then, we should remember Schopenhauer's advice. We need the wisdom to be economical with words and not argue with rude people. We don't need to say everything, and rather than reacting emotionally to others' words, we need to practice accepting them calmly. Sometimes silence conveys more meaning than many words. We should respect others' feelings while maintaining equanimity, not being swept away by our own emotions. Fourth, we must make efforts to maintain relationships. Meaningful relationships don't sustain themselves. We must invest time and effort in each other, spending time together, offering support in ways helpful to each other, and willingly standing by in difficult moments. These are important. Small gifts or a warm word can make relationships more enriching. As it becomes harder to start new relationships as we age, it becomes more important to nurture and maintain existing precious relationships. Through regular meetings, we should check on each other, and when hardships arise, we should be ready to listen. Schopenhauer said, "Human life is continuous suffering, but we can find meaning and discover beauty within it." Meaningful relationships are precious resources for sharing this meaning and beauty of life. We cannot find lightness in complete isolation. Rather, we can find true stability and happiness within a few meaningful relationships. Living lightly as we age doesn't simply mean being alone. It means letting go of unnecessary relationships and burdens while connecting deeply with truly precious people. Ultimately, the way to live lightly as we age is integrating these three wisdoms. With the wisdom to let go, we escape unnecessary desires and attachments. With the courage to stand alone, we're freed from external dependencies. Through meaningful relationships, we live lives deeply connected with precious people. All of this is deeply connected to the inner peace Schopenhauer emphasized. He believed inner tranquility, unshaken by external conditions, is true happiness. As we age, we focus more on our inner world and gain opportunities to reflect on our own lives. Through this time, we realize what truly matters to us and can let go of unnecessary things. Life constantly changes, and we grow within that change. Aging is never regression, it's a process of gaining new wisdom and insight. Through this wisdom and insight, we can live richer and more meaningful lives. So far, we've talked about how to live lightly as we grow older. I hope these words have brought small resonances and inspiration to your life.